Szoboszlai, it's a cracker. The opening goal is Liverpool's.
Szoboszlai on his left foot. It's a wonderful finish in all fairness because he opens his body up really well. It's not power, it's accuracy that goes in off the post.
Ball for Szoboszlai. Oh, it's outstanding. What a goal from Dominik Szoboszlai. The coolest man in the house. Just took his time, picked his spot. 1-0 Liverpool. Wow, it's all about.
Szoboszlai has been one of the most underrated midfielders in the league this season, but a few months ago he was struggling, stuck on the bench, not performing at his best. So what changed? How did he go from being overlooked to one of Liverpool's key players? And is Arne Slot the mastermind behind his resurgence? Well, let's talk about that. Before Szoboszlai started cooking in the Premier League, he was already making defenders miserable in Germany. And honestly, if you were paying attention back then, you knew this guy was destined for the top. His big break came in December 2020, when RB Leipzig made him the most expensive Hungarian player in history with a €20 million transfer. That's a big move. But here's the catch, he didn't even get to play right away. A long-term injury kept him out for the entire second half of the season, and suddenly people were wondering if he was just another overhyped youngster. But when he finally stepped onto the pitch in the 2021-22 season, oh, it was worth the wait. He didn't just play well, he exploded onto the scene. 22 games, 9 goals, 10 assists. That's not just promising young player numbers, that's this guy might be special numbers. And the way he did it? Absolute filth. He scored on his debut, bagged 2 goals in a 4-0 win over Stuttgart, and was already looking like one of Leipzig's most dangerous players. He had that crazy long-range shooting ability, unreal vision, and a work rate that made him a nightmare to defend against. Even in his first full season, he wasn't just fitting in, he was running the show. But the real step up came in the 2022-23 season. 45 games, 10 goals, 9 assists. Bigger games, bigger moments, and an even bigger impact. He was Leipzig's Swiss Army knife, playing as an attacking midfielder, a winger, and sometimes even deeper in midfield. He dropped a brace against Stuttgart, ripped one past Dortmund, and then, for the biggest flex of all, scored against Bayern at the Allianz Arena in a 3-1 win. And then came his real statement game, the DFB Pokal final, Leipzig versus Frankfurt. Silverware on the line, and Szoboszlai steps up to score in the final, securing his second major trophy in Germany. That was the moment you knew this guy wasn't just a talented midfielder, he was a star built for the biggest stages. So when Liverpool came knocking, it was a no-brainer. Szoboszlai had already proven he was the real deal. Now, it was time to take that next step and conquer the Premier League. At first, it looked like a match made in heaven. But then, things got complicated. You see, Szoboszlai came in and hit the ground running. I mean, fans liked him, and what was there not to be liked? He was good at almost everything. He could play a pass, shoot long range, and run like crazy. I mean, you know when someone runs crazy when the king of gegenpressing, Klopp, says he is unbelievably athletic. You see, Liverpool's midfield has had some wild transformations over the years, but this guy, he's built differently. Have you ever seen a midfielder who can bang in screamers from 30 yards, press like a lunatic and still have the swagger of a superstar? That's Szoboszlai for you. And let's be real, Liverpool has been crying out for a player like this for years. The last time they had someone with that mix of flair, power and goal-scoring ability from midfield? Steven Gerrard. Sure, they've had some top midfielders since then. Henderson, Keita, Fabinho, Curtis Jones, Alex McAllister, but none fit the mould. Henderson was more of a leader and defensive workhouse. Keita, a silky ball progressor, but never consistent. Fabinho was an elite shield for the defence. As for Jones and McAllister, they do a job, but they aren't game chasers every week. Szoboszlai, though, he's different. His arrival has completely changed the dynamic of Liverpool's midfield. The man was in absolute smoke at the start of the season. Remember his goal against Aston Villa? First-time volley, back of the net, no hesitation. The kind of strike that makes you question if physics is even real. It's like Liverpool had been missing that kind of technical brilliance in midfield for ages. Henderson, Fabinho, Wijnaldum? Legends, no doubt, but none of them could do that. And then there's the work rate. But here's where things got rough. After the turn of the year, Szoboszlai picked up that hamstring injury, and let's be honest, he wasn't the same after that. The stats? They tanked. His impact? Barely noticeable. He went from running the show to just running, and for a £60 million signing, that's not what Liverpool fans wanted to see. Now, was it his fault? Not really. Hamstring injuries are brutal, especially for a player whose entire game is built on movement, pressing and intensity. It's like taking the turbo out of a Ferrari. It's still a great car, but it's not flying past anyone. And then came the real frustration. Even when he recovered, he wasn't getting his starting spot back like before. Klopp started using him more off the bench, and suddenly people were asking, was Szoboszlai as good as we thought? Was that early season form just hype? The doubt started creeping in, and let's be honest, Liverpool's midfield depth didn't help his case. But here's the twist. Arne Slot came in and has changed him back to his best. The ball genius figured out how to get the best out of Szoboszlai again. But before we talk about that, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, as this would help us get to our target of 8,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Thank you, and now back to the video. Arne Slot has given Dominik Szoboszlai a whole new role at Liverpool, tweaking his movement to make him even more effective in attack. Under Klopp, he played as a high-energy number 8, covering every blade of grass. Now Slot has him making smarter, more structured runs that bring the best out of him and the team. One of the biggest changes? Szoboszlai is now a master of decoy runs, especially to free up Mohamed Salah. Instead of just charging forward, he times his diagonal runs perfectly, pulling defenders away and isolating Salah one-on-one with a fullback. That's exactly what happened against Brighton. Salah found himself in acres of space, all thanks to Szoboszlai dragging defenders out of position. The same thing happened against Chelsea, where Salah got the time and space to deliver a perfect cross. But it's not just about making space for others. Szoboszlai is also finding new ways to break through defensive blocks. Against teams that sit back, he's making late central runs from midfield, arriving in the box just as defenders are shifting. That unpredictability is causing chaos. Just ask Manchester United. At Old Trafford, his movement constantly disrupted their back line, making Liverpool's attack much harder to contain. Slot's system is fluid, which means Szoboszlai's runs change based on the opponent. Against Ipswich, he dropped deeper into a double pivot, with Gravenberch helping stretch the midfield. But against Brentford, he played higher up, drifting right to link up with Salah and create passing options for Trent Alexander-Arnold. His adaptability makes Liverpool much harder to read. And when Liverpool wins the ball deep, Szoboszlai is off like a rocket, sprinting forward to offer an option in transition. Against Tottenham, he made these runs over and over again, helping Liverpool move up the pitch in seconds. His pace and decision-making make Liverpool's counterattacks even deadlier. See, people have been obsessed with Szoboszlai's lack of goals and assists lately, but here's the thing, they're missing the bigger picture. This guy is not just about numbers, he's the engine that keeps this Liverpool team running. I mean, most fans said that he is the heartbeat of this Arne Slot Liverpool team, and they're spot on. You know how Liverpool's midfield shape constantly shifts? 1 minute they're a 3-2-5, the next it's a 4-1-4, and for that system to work, you need players who can adapt instantly. Szoboszlai does that better than anyone. When McAllister pushes forward, Szoboszlai drops deeper. When Liverpool needs someone to link play, he's there. When the team loses possession, he's pressing like his life depends on it. Arne Slot has fine-tuned his role to maximise his strengths. Slot's Liverpool is all about fluidity, and Szoboszlai embodies that. At times he operates almost as a second striker, pressing high alongside the centre-forward in a shape that resembles a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-2-2. This makes him instrumental in Liverpool's defensive setup, closing down opponents and forcing errors high up the pitch. But then, in an instant, he can drop into midfield, supporting McAllister and Gravenberch while also providing cover for Trent Alexander-Arnold when needed. He's also a pressing monster, because this guy presses with intelligence. He's not just running around like a Daniel James. I mean, he knows how to curve his runs, block passing lanes and trap opponents into mistakes. That's why Liverpool fans who are just looking at his attacking output are missing the point. Szoboszlai is doing the dirty work, the invisible stuff that makes a team function. His heat map shows an immense work rate, covering vast areas of the pitch in both attacking and defensive transitions. A lot of people have been comparing Szoboszlai's start at Liverpool to other midfielders who have come into the Premier League and exploded right away. The problem is, that's not always how it works. Some players take a bit more time to settle, especially when they're adapting to a completely new tactical system. Look at players like Rodri at Manchester City. His first season wasn't spectacular and people questioned whether he was good enough for Pep's team. Now, he's arguably the best defensive midfielder in the world. These things take time, and Szoboszlai is no different. Another key point is that his role has changed significantly under Arne Slot. Under Klopp, he was expected to be a high-energy attacking midfielder who would contribute goals and assists while pressing relentlessly. Under Slot, the demands on him are different. He's being asked to control the tempo of the game more, to be a cog in the midfield rather than the guy providing the final pass or shot. This means fewer goal contributions, but way more influence on how Liverpool plays. If you look at his underlying numbers, you'll see just how crucial he is. His progressive carries, key passes, and defensive actions all rank among the highest in Liverpool's squad. He's constantly moving the ball forward, breaking lines, and making life difficult for opponents. You won't always see his name on the score sheet, but you'll notice his impact if you watch the games properly. His XG is among the highest in the team, behind only Salah and Luis Diaz, showing that even if he's not scoring, he's still a major goal threat. You see, one of the biggest issues with modern football discourse is that too many people rely on stats without context. Goals and assists are great, but they don't tell the whole story. Players like Luka Modric, Sergio Busquets, and even Xavi weren't known for their goal contributions, but they were essential to how their teams functioned. Szoboszlai is playing a similar role for Liverpool, and he deserves credit for that. The thing about Szoboszlai is that he's not just technically gifted, he's also a fighter. He's one of those players who will run through a wall for the team, and that's exactly the kind of mentality Liverpool needs. When things aren't going well, you want players who will step up, work hard, and do what's necessary to get the team back on track. Szoboszlai has that in abundance. I mean, his debut for Liverpool had him running for two people in the midfield due to the red card. Looking at the bigger picture, Liverpool fans should be excited about what's to come. Arne Slot is still implementing his ideas, and once the team fully adapts to his system, we'll see an even better version of Szoboszlai. He has all the qualities needed to be a key player in this project: vision, work rate, technical ability, and tactical intelligence. Slot has acknowledged that Szoboszlai is underappreciated, praising his incredible work rate and importance to the team's system. With rotation options like Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott allowing Szoboszlai to stay fresh, he can continue to refine his role without being overworked. With tough fixtures ahead, his ability to shift between attacking and defensive duties will be crucial. So yeah, the hype might have died down, and some people are questioning him. But if you watch Liverpool's games, you'll see how important Szoboszlai is. Even in the game against Tottenham, he showed his class again. He's the lungs of this team, the guy who makes everything tick, and under Arne Slot, he's finally being used the right way. If you were expecting Szoboszlai to be a 15-goal-a-season midfielder, that's on you. But if you want someone who brings balance, energy, and tactical intelligence to Liverpool's midfield, he's your guy. The numbers might not be flashy, but his influence on the pitch is undeniable. The best is yet to come, and Liverpool fans should be patient, because when it all clicks, Szoboszlai will prove exactly why the club invested in him. But what do you think? Can he be as good as Steven Gerrard? Well, let me know in the comments, and when you are done with that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.